Hello friends, this is Pastor Amos. I hope that you are well. I want to give a word and a reminder about the current affairs of our Sunday gatherings. But first, I want to pass on two all-important reminders from Jesus. In Matthew 22:39, Jesus said, "The second greatest commandment is, love your neighbor as yourself." And in John 13:34, just before the cross, Jesus told us, "A new command I give you, love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." Friends, remember that this is the command of the Christian life. Love one another. What an incredible challenge and a wonderful delight. I know that we have in our congregation many different opinions all across the spectrum on how the nation and our churches ought to be handling this coronavirus pandemic. I know that we have what feel like many rules in place right now when it comes to worship because of this. But here's what I'd like to remind our community, to remind you and me. Whatever else this pandemic is or isn't, it is an opportunity for us to love one another. For example, you might think a mask is silly, or you might think it is absolutely necessary. You might think that this pandemic is the worst occurrence that you've ever seen, or you might think it's all blown out of proportion. I know that we have all of these opinions and more within our church family. This unprecedented time in our history is also an unprecedented opportunity for us to display the love of Christ toward one another, even in how we come together in worship. Even when your brother thinks different than you, you are unified with him in the same family. So, what does this unity look like for us when we do come together for worship? Well, if you're coming to worship tomorrow, it can look like a respect for the rules that we are trying to set in place. I know it's not fun for any of us. It's not fun for me. My friends, I want you to know that we put these in place because we're doing our best to respect the decisions of our doctors and political leaders. Also to respect those of you who choose to follow all the recommended guidelines. Also to respect those of you who choose not to. It is for this reason that we are asking the following of you if you're planning on attending worship tomorrow. If you're planning on wearing a mask during the service, would you please park in the main parking lot? If you are going to wear a mask, would you please park in the main parking lot, come in the regular doors, sit at chairs and around tables in the back half of the sanctuary area, and exit that same way. If you are not planning to wear a mask during the service, would you please park in the side parking lot, come in the marked front doors on the side of our sanctuary worship center area, sit at chairs and around tables at the front half of the sanctuary area, and exit that same way. My friends, we have not asked this to create division among you, but to foster love among you. With these guidelines in place, folks that are more concerned about the virus and choose to wear masks won't need to worry about the breathing, talking, or singing of those behind them traveling onto them. I know we are tired, but I also want to ask you this. If you were planning on coming to worship tomorrow, please don't not come because you don't like these rules that we've put in place. I'm asking you that. These are simply ways for us to love one another during this very strange moment in time. Again, this is all tiresome for all of us, but love always volunteers to take the harder road because, as 1 Corinthians 13, 4-7 reminds us, love is patient, love is kind, love does not dishonor others, love is not self-seeking, love always protects. And as Philippians 2, 3, and 4 reminds us, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of the others. We do have a loving church family. You are a loving church family. I'm really grateful for that. You love one another. I'm so glad that you're a part of this family. I know that during this coronavirus pandemic, we will continue to put that love on display for one another as we come together to worship. think about how to display that love in other ways in your life as well. After all, 1 Corinthians 13 tells us again that everything else will pass away, but love will remain alive to the end of time. Let's keep letting Christ form us in that love. Thank you, my friends. If you come to worship tomorrow, I'll see you there. If not, remember that we will broadcast live on Facebook. And even more importantly, we are all connected, all of us, by the Spirit of God in a family much larger than New Hope. Thank you, Jesus. Love one another. And even when this coronavirus passes away, love will remain. God bless you. Stay safe, stay warm, stay humble, and stay on mission in this lost and dying world. We are the church, and Jesus will be our good Lord.